Okay, before streaming, before the cloud, before you could fit like a million songs in your pocket, these three things basically ruled the world: the cassette, the floppy disk, and the CD. I know they look like ancient relics now, but they all performed the exact same magic trick. They froze sound and data into a physical object you could hold. So how on earth did they do it? Let's find out. I mean, really think about it. How did we trap music onto a little ribbon of magnetic tape? Or an entire computer program onto a flimsy plastic square? Well, that's what we're going to break down today. We're diving into the pretty mind-blowing science behind these icons, and you'll see how three totally different, totally brilliant ideas changed everything. Let's get into it. All right, our first stop is the oldest and, in some ways the most fascinating of the bunch, the cassette tape. This is pure analog technology. And what that means is it doesn't store a computer code or a bunch of numbers. It stores a physical, literal copy of the sound itself.
The secret is all in this thin, brown ribbon of tape you see inside. It's coated with millions and millions of microscopic iron particles. The best way to think of them is as tiny, microscopic magnets, all just kind of floating there, waiting for instructions.
So here's where the magic happens. When you record something, your voice or a song becomes an electrical signal. That signal goes to a recording head, which is basically a tiny little electromagnet. Now, as the tape slides past it, that electromagnet physically arranges all those little iron particles into the exact shape of the sound wave. A loud sound, that makes a strong magnetic pattern. A quiet sound makes a weak one. The sound wave is literally, physically etched magnetically right onto the tape.
Next up, the floppy disk. Now yeah, it might look kind of like a square cassette, but this thing represents a massive, massive technological jump. We are officially leaving the analog world behind and we're entering the digital revolution.
See, the floppy disk uses a similar magnetic surface, but it's not storing a physical wave anymore. Instead, it stores binary code, the language of computers, made up of just two numbers, zeros and ones. It's not a picture of the sound, it's more like a super detailed recipe for how to recreate it.
So here's the crucial part. The write head flips these microscopic magnetic patches on the disk surface. If it magnetizes a spot in one direction, that means a 1. If it flips it to the opposite direction, that's a 0. That's it. A floppy disk is basically just a flat circle with millions of tiny magnetic light switches being flipped on and off to spell out your file in binary.
And this slide right here shows the difference perfectly. Analog is a direct physical copy, almost like a photograph of the sound wave. Digital, on the other hand, is an abstract code, just a set of instructions, two completely different ways of thinking to store the exact same song. And that digital approach, well, that's what unlocked the ability to make perfect, flawless copies over and over again, something analog could just never do.
And finally, we get to its shiny, sleek successor, the compact disc. With the CD, we're basically throwing magnets out the window entirely. We're jumping into the world of optics. This is all about light. So instead of magnetic particles, a CD stores all its data as a single, continuous spiral track of microscopic physical bumps. These tiny little indentations are called pits, and the flat areas in between them are called lands. And get this, that single track, if you could unspool it, would be over 3 miles long. Wild, right? The way we read this is pure genius. A CD player shoots a super focused laser beam at the spiral track. When the laser hits a flat spot, a land, the light reflects perfectly back to a sensor, and the player reads that as a 1. But when the laser hits one of those bumpy pits, the indentation scatters the light. The sensor gets a weak, fuzzy signal back, and it interprets that as a 0. Just take a second to let that sink in. Your favorite song on a CD is literally nothing more than a rapid-fire sequence of clean and scattered light reflections. That's all it is. And those reflections are being translated back into ones and zeros, which are then converted back into the music you hear. It's absolutely incredible. So when you look at these three formats together, you see this amazing, super fast evolution of how we store our world. It really is a journey from the purely physical to the purely digital.
So let's just quickly recap this whole journey. We started with the cassette, right? Storing analog waves on magnetic tape. Then we made the huge leap to the floppy disk, storing digital bits, but still magnetically. From there, we evolved to the CD, still storing digital bits, but this time optically with a laser. And today, well, today we have the cloud, which still uses those exact same digital bits, just stored on these massive servers we never have to see.
In the end, they were all just different answers to the exact same, very human problem. How do we save the priceless information, the music, and the memories that we create? The technology has totally changed, but that fundamental language of zeros and ones that was pioneered by these physical objects, it still powers our entire world today.
So I have to ask you, which one of these brings back the most nostalgia for you? Was it making a personal mixtape on a cassette? The thrill of saving your game on a floppy? Or the crystal clear sound of the first CD you ever bought? Let me know down in the comments. I really want to hear your stories. And hey, if you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the tech that shaped our world. Thanks for hanging out.